So not that I could tell you where I left my hat, but uh we got this hat. Hold on. I gotta make sure you could there you go, see that in frame. Uh so what's up? How's everybody doing? How you doing? Uh so today's episode is going to be about uh so I'll tell you what I've been going through. Um like the as the winter, kind of spring kind of comes in, there's this moment of uh this is straight moment of like, you kind of lose to a degree a bit of oomph, you know what I'm saying? You might have, like, let's say you do have energy, but it's not directed anywhere. It's a very, like, during the winter time is a very like easy time to like lose direction, right? And what I was seeing was like, yo, like I literally had to, I mean, like personally, I had to actually like get myself to a place of like I kid you not, man. I was like walking home and I was going through it, A part and partial was because earlier in that time, uh, and this is like in the span of like past couple of days, really. Uh, I was in the span of like I truly believe that like you gotta pray, like you gotta have faith. I truly believe that because you're constantly like if you really want to grow, you have to constantly place yourself and go up against you got to constantly go up against discomfort. You know what I'm saying? You got to constantly go up against things that you're not really that comfortable with. It's out of your ordinary, it's unfamiliar. And so uh that's a real thing where it's like, okay, well now, like, and after that time, what ended up happening was that I was like, what was going on? What was going on? It was so like, it was so, because it was discomfort after discomfort after discomfort. And like I said, like personally, I was getting just like my will, not my willpower, but like my vision and direction was getting obliterated, was getting like hit. And I'm like, yo, like I want to go in this direction. Ultimately, it's it was difficult. It was very difficult. And so this brings me to my next topic, which there's a level of there's a way to not make this difficult. There's a way to not make it, because that difficulty, what it does is that it manifests itself into complacency. And complacency, I truly believe, is having a lack of direction, which ultimately lack of urgency. But more important, it's like, it is one of those things where you're just constantly getting, you know, and that I've seen that. I'm observing that where it's like I develop faith uh, through discomfort, enough discomfort without a direction causes complacency. But there's a part in the middle where you have faith and you have the discomfort that the faith helps you get through, but you need something in the middle to really help you get to direction and urgency, right? And these are like the four principles, and the fifth one is very important that we're about to talk today, which is commitment. Now, let's say you're, in a relationship. If you're going through discomfort, have faith, and you'll see why. You'll see the reasoning, and you'll get clarity, right? And I feel like a lot of times it's clarity that you actually get. I don't think you really get like, I don't like it is. I think there is such thing as bliss and being in bliss. Ultimately, I feel like there's also, um, you know, you're basically partnering up with discomfort, with putting yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's really what faith, I think, is an engine for. And so then you have, and then you have what's it called? And then you have the last part, which is direction and urgency, right? Because if you have urgency but you ain't got no direction, you just, don't matter where you headed at what speed if you don't know where you headed, right? And the thing in the middle, commitment helps you get to that place of what's it called, of direction, because you'll know where you're headed, and then urgency, right? And I'm talking in principles because it's like I could easily try to like explain each thing, circumstance, and how each principle played into it. I might, but ultimately, principles help ground. It also helps ground me when I'm speaking. So when I'm here, because I do this like one take. So I'm not a big editor. So it helps ground the whole conversation, whatever. So back to commitment, and this is why commitment cures complacency. Now, uh, in order for you to have direction and urgency, which is and ultimately it's gonna feel good, right? Like there is such thing as having a vision, and I talk about that a lot here, which is like, yo, you gotta have a vision, you gotta have like a direction in your life, and you gotta know where you headed. Now the problem is if you don't know why, if you don't know why, and that why, which I'm almost beginning to believe that, not that there almost isn't one, but the fact that there's more of a how, which I've already expressed this before. We don't necessarily do things, we don't do things, for a reason. We do things for a reason, but it's more or less we do things because we want to do them the way we do them, if that makes sense. Um, and so that it's that concept. That one's weird, nonetheless. The whole commitment thing, it really does boil down to like, it boils down to the fact that, uh, and this is why like marriage is important. When you commit to something, when you commit to something, it puts you under pressure. When you commit to something, it puts you under pressure, and that commitment is what's going to help you grow. And of course, you have faith through the discomfort. It almost helps with the whole discomfort thing, because it's like, and you gotta commit. You gotta, and this is the other half, which is like a very important part. Is like, all right, you have your goal, you have you did the math, right? Because you gotta write this stuff down. If you have a specific goal, write it down, do stuff like that. And then once you piece it together in that way, uh, what ends up happening is that now all of a sudden, when you're on that path, when you're on that journey, what ends up happening is like now you're just like, oh my God, I have to get this done. You know what I'm saying? I like, and that there are multiple ways you can commit yourself to things, but that I know it's a very important part. Commitment plays a very important part. Uh, and I think it also makes life very fun. Because I mean, you think about it, um, without commitment, right? And to a degree, when you don't commit, there is a level of like, whether it's physical or emotional uh, pain that would come from not achieving that commitment, right? And it's not like, oh, going wild or whatever. Like, hey, I'll get a tattoo if I don't get that, whatever. Like, or you know, the, of course, not to overthink this, is really just to commitment helps. Commitment helps. The more you're willing to commit yourself to things, the more you are willing um to put yourself under pressure and see what you're capable of. It almost ignites you, and it ignites you in a positive and a negative way. It's not in just a positive way. It's in a positive and in a negative way. Because yes, you will feel worried, you will feel doubtful, and on the other hand, uh you'll feel like, ready to go. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll feel excited. You'll feel focused. You know what I'm saying? Like there are a lot of really great things that come from that from commitment that from commitment that you just get, and you can't, like, you know what I'm saying, like that's just a real thing where it's like your ability to learn how to commit to things plays a very big role. It plays a very big role, and it, like, in any, like, for example, in you're in a relationship, whatever, uh there's going to be doubts, and in addition to that, there's also going to be you know, times where you feel very confident and reassured, and like you feel very uh ignited, right, to go after something because you're seeing results. And so I think what commitment does is that it puts you in kind of like a pressure chamber. It puts you in a chamber where it's like you're it puts you in a chamber for change. That's really what it does. And it's very good for you. It's good for you, especially if you feel yourself getting complacent, you know, like voluntarily taking on commitments, like true, like I think, and this is something I've done subconsciously without even thinking about it, just taking on commitments in order to get the most out of myself, because I know I will get complacent. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of business owners, they actually do this too. I remember this individual, Josh Snow. He owns like an e-commerce website. He uh, he started that company because it was challenging, and so he created a pressure chamber for himself, so he could not only not be complacent, but I truly believe that we do this without even thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and yeah, like you got to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Like, you're already doing so by praying. You're already doing so by having faith. You're already doing so, you know. And I'm not. I don't mean to get religious. I'm genuinely saying, like, you're actively doing that already. And so yeah, it's yeah, it's something. It's interesting, and I feel like it definitely does contribute to commitment. Definitely contributes to growth. It really does, and it you can you can feel it when you actively decide, oh, I'm gonna actively, like, pursue this thing or whatever it is. You get results when you put yourself under pressure. You know, it's like having somebody yelling at you, and it's a right amount of pressure. It's like there's basic discomfort, uh and then there's discomfort from commitment. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. And I think ultimately you can really, like, you could do that. Yeah, you can do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just good for you, I think. Truthfully, I really think commitment is really good for people. Um, you know, what comes up to mind is, like, you know how you know how there's transient principles, and then there are principles as a construct. I think discomfort is the transient one, where it's like quick, it comes and goes very quickly. Where commitment is like discomfort, but as a construct, where it's a lot bigger, and it's a lot more. It definitely is a lot more impactful. And I think like, when praying and, like, having faith and having commitment, I think is I think those are important. Like, truthfully, those are very important. And it brings out the best in you. It's very good for you. Like, mentally, it's very good for you to be in positions that request the most out of you. Where you have to go and be like, oh, like, there are things that I don't like. It's to a degree, that you can. That's the part. That's the part where it's like, when you commit, there's obviously, like, you don't want to commit to something that you obviously know you can't do. That's different. A commitment is like, the right kind of commitment is something that's like, I know that I know I can. I don't know by how much of a margin, but I know I can. You know, like, can I run a mile? I know I can. Can I run a mile under 7, under 6? That's like for me something light. Under 6 with training, maybe. Under 7, I know I can. Under 7 minutes, I know I can run a mile. You know, is it going to be difficult? Will it stretch me? Will it make me grow? Yes. That's what you want. Will it make me grow? Yes. But it won't hurt you. It won't completely obliterate you. Because that emotion, the emotional, you know, uh what's it called? The emotional repercussions, right? Of picking a goal way too massive for yourself. That's not the best. That's not the best. You know what I'm saying? And it man, it's gonna shift the conversation for you when you commit. When you understand not only that commitment and faith are very good for you, it really does help. And I want to draw this out. I've thought about kind of having the iPad out and stuff like that. Like, but you know, it might be useful, honestly, to kind of have the ability to draw things out for you guys. I have the smart board, right? Not the smart board. The whiteboard. I have the whiteboard there. Uh, yeah, it's interesting, man, because you don't want to. Yeah, there is such thing as overcommitment, and of course, like, you have to you got to moderate yourself and understand that, hey, this is strictly to help me grow. Whatever and yeah, these are pretty, like, really really great principles over. I can definitely say, because when you got these principles in check, it makes the world of a difference, man. Huge. Like, I don't know, find ways to make commitments, and if you don't find ways, trust me, you, like, pray, and they'll be given to you. The right ones will be given to you. When it's like, be careful what you wish for, because it might help you grow. That's kind of what. Be careful what you pray for. Be careful what you like, because it might help you grow. And I think, uh, or help or grow or strengthen, whatever it is, it's gonna help you get better. It's gonna help you. It's gonna shift you. It's gonna make you better. It's gonna make you into a solid thing, you know. And that I truly think that's important. I know that's important. So, uh, yeah, um, yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Of course, a link to the hoodie, to the sweater, will be down below. The name of the sweater is called The Vote. Um, it's a lot about what I talk about in the podcast. It's a big topic. Um, Discipline isn't like, that's a whole different topic. Nonetheless, redefining discipline as devotion helps you go after and understand exactly why you're doing something. Um, and yeah, thank you so much for watching. A link will be down below as well to the mentorship. Uh, that's one-on-one time with me. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.